Executor, by following Tassadar and attempting to rescue the Dark Templar, you have openly defied the will of the Conclave. Abandon this mad scheme now, and the Conclave may show you mercy.
Don't let him control you, Executor. The Judicator have long since steered the actions of the Templar to their own ends. It's time we acted of our own accord.
Ah, Tassadar, have you fallen so far? To think that you were our brightest hope, our most beloved son. Now you are everything that we are not. You are lost to us. Not only have you damned yourself, but you have damned those who have followed you.
Such is the price for our race's salvation, Judicator. I have been here with the Dark Templar these last few months. While I helped them in their fight against the Zerg, I learned many of their secrets from the Prelate, Zeratul. Apparently, the energies which empower the Dark Templar also course through the Overmind and its cerebrates.
The same cerebrates which you told us to destroy. Your advice was useless, for the creature was reincarnated before our eyes.
Unfortunately, yes. Your attack on the cerebrate failed because the energies that you wield are useless when used directly against the Overmind and its cerebrates. Only the Dark Templar's power can truly harm the Zerg. That is why we must rescue Zeratul and return him to Ire.
You were warned, Executor. The Conclave will not be pleased.
You know what, Aldarish? You can go you-know-what yourself. Although, do Protoss even do that? I don't know. Welcome to Mission 5 of the Protoss campaign, guys, and let's play Starcraft. This is probably the mission where you are forced to go sky toss for the most point, which is really irritating due to the fact that you can't build the top-end tier units. So we're pretty much restricted to just scouts and drops at this point. And the Zerg are not going to make it easy for us. They have flyers and scourges all over the map. So this map really is a grind of attrition. And also, it means I'm going to have to do a little bit of microing, which I don't like, as you know. So Artanis, that's us, has chosen to side with Tassadar and the Dark Templar. Obviously he sees that attacking the Cerebrates or defending against the Zerg the way we have been is completely useless. So in order for the Protoss to survive against the Zerg, they have to reunite with their Dark Templar brethren and the Conclave be damned, basically. But what's the betting that Aldaris is not going to take this lying down? Anywho, let's build a forge so we can build a couple of photon cannons. As I said, there's no real ways into our base except via a drop on the open land that's just on to the right of our base, or a drop actually in our base. So a few photon cannons will make sure that we're actually very safe at this point. And we'll also be able to do the plasma shield upgrades. Unfortunately, the assimilator, or where we're going to put the assimilator, is miles away from our first nexus. So that's not going to make things easy at all, but we just have to live with it at the moment. You'll notice the mineral patch we have is actually fairly small. Fortunately, there is an expansion nearby, so that's not going to be the end of it, fortunately, because there's no way that we can go air units off just one base in any sort of expedient amount of time. And this map really does sort of stretch the limitations of what you can do. It's just a group of small islands all over the place, and where we have to go is just swarming with spore colonies and sunken colonies. So it's not going to be easy no matter what happens here. Fortunately, got quite a lot of supply right off the bat here, so Gonna build a pylon anyway, because it's decent to have our buildings powered over there. It would be nice, let's put it that way. And more probes, just more probes. We're going to have, I believe, at least 5 in gas and maybe even 6 in gas to make sure that there's a constant stream of it. And we will need a constant stream of it because scouts do take a significant amount of gas, and also we're going to have to do air upgrades as well, which isn't going to be too easy. I haven't really placed my pylon particularly well. My probes have to dance around it, but it's not really too much of a big deal. At least I hope it doesn't turn into too much of a big deal, because that would be fairly embarrassing. What I actually should do is just pull some of my probes off mining minerals and send them all directly to gas. That's the most expedient way to do it, rather than doing what I am doing and just having them mine minerals constantly and then just sending the odd probe off to do gas. It's not really the quickest way to do things. Yeah, I think it's going to end up with 6 in gas overall. But so somehow Tassadar and Zeratul got separated. Doing +1 ground weapons. I believe my original plan at this point was just to go drops, but I will do some scouting of the map shortly, and you'll see that going drops isn't really going to be optimal, at least early. We're going to definitely need a few scouts. Okay, I can go 2 gate, build some dragoons and zealots. And I've got enough cash to make a cyber core, so let's do that as well before we get too far into anything else. Cyber core is going to be useful not only just because it allows us to build dragoons, but it is also going to let us upgrade our air attack and defense, which is something that we are seriously going to need. As mentioned before in previous games, the Protoss upgrades, or at least the shield upgrade, applies to everything, so that'll be something that we are going to concentrate on quite a bit. But for the moment, while everything's building, I think +1 weapons is fine as well. You did notice in the briefing there that Tassadar finally admits that the High Templar are pretty much useless against the direct minions of the Overmind, shall we say, the Cerebrits and the Overmind itself, because the same energies that power the Dark Templar power the Zerg. Those same energies do prevent the Dark Templar from being infested as well, so we shall see how things go. Again, the idea here is to try and drop. So you'll see me research Protoss air armor as well as researching air weaponry. But I think I just about abandoned that strategy because it leads to the fact that I still have to clear out all the scourges there, and getting my shuttle shot down will be a just huge loss of resources, and the Zerg are way too entrenched over there for it to be a profitable attack in the short term. You can see the ramp leading down there. I should probably build a couple of cannons there, but at the moment I'm really this is where we have to go. At the moment I am really focused on building up my infrastructure more than going straight for anything else. And let's build a couple of dragoons. Dragoons are going to be very useful on this level because if we're up against drops, we're up against overlords, I want to be able to defend against them, and dragoons are very good for defending against that sort of thing. So that's the Citadel of Adun done, so we should be able to research the Zealot leg enhancements shortly, but here come the Zerg. Nothing really too threatening there, just a few Zerglings. And we can research the leg upgrade for the Zealot. I pretty much upgrade that whenever I can. as soon as whenever it's available, because fast zealots are a lot better than slow zealots, a lot better. So yeah, going to build a pylon here just to give me a little bit extra supply, and it will also give me the power field that I need in order to build a couple of cannons down here. And that'll shore up the base for some period of time. Kind of going half and half on what to build here. I'm really not sure. The robotics bay I will need for shuttles, and also to upgrade any shuttles. I can also build reavers out of there. However, reaver dropping, I don't think that it'd be terrible to reaver drop, but it'd have to be accompanied by something else. And to be honest, reavers are something I don't usually... Reavers are something I don't usually build too much in the campaign. They tend to be a little bit... their AI is a bit dumb, and they tend to be a little bit difficult to use sometimes. Okay, so I'm not going mad with cannons. I'm just building a couple up here on the ridge. So it just adds a little bit to my firepower at the top of the ridge. I am going to want to go down that ridge at some point anyway. And we'll just send the probe back, and I think we're going to build a robotics facility. It looks like I got dropped on here, but nothing too much to worry about. One Zergling is not going to do much damage. And I have the resources now near enough, so I can build a robotics bay. Unfortunately, this isn't Starcraft 2, so I can't build Colossi, but hey, never mind. You can't have everything. The Reaver is pretty cool, and the robotics facility can be useful. We can't build observers, which is something that I wouldn't mind on a map like this. I do like observers, for the reason that I just like to know what's going on. I think it's really good just having a look around the map. And certainly with Tassadar around, there is an easy way to get a look around the map. You see me upgrading air armor here because I'm still in on the fact that I want the shuttles to I want to use shuttles in this mission, so giving them big armor is actually a pretty big deal, because if you get them fully powered up with shields and you get them fully armoured up, Mutalisks can't really do too much to them, spore colonies can't really do too much to them immediately, so you'll get your drops in, and that's the most important thing when you're actually going drops, is to make sure that whatever's in them lands. If what's in them doesn't land, then that's very, very expensive. So I tend to go a little bit OTT on defense for the shuttles. You can see there, shuttles costing 200. And let's just come down here and we can build a support bay. That'll allow me to research the upgrade that makes shuttles go faster. It will also allow me to build Reavers, and it will also allow me to research the upgrade to make Reavers carry more Scarabs and do more damage with their Scarabs. Which, again, is a pretty big deal, because upgraded Reavers do a lot of damage, and it also helps if they don't run out of firepower right in the middle of a fight. Of course, if you've got your control down, you often don't have to. You can just literally just build the Scarabs as the Reavers fire, but that requires a lot more micro than I'm sort of capable of. There you go, upgrade Scarab damage. I think that's a 25% upgrade if I'm not correct. More Scarabs and faster shuttle movement, so that's the other thing I'm going for there. What the faster shuttle movement will also allow me to do is, once it's researched, I'll be able to use that shuttle that I have as a scout. I'll hallucinate it with Tassadar, and this is something that High Templar, this is one of the cool things about hallucination. It's the fact that you get sort of infinite scouting. and I'm going to research level 1 plasma shields as well. What I'm going to need at this point, I'm going to need a Templar Archives, not because I'm going Archon, but because you need a Templar Archives in order to research, I think, level 2 on shields and weapons, and 3, I think. I don't think there's actually a requirement for level 3. Once you have Templar Archives, you can research level 2 and level 3 on shields and weapons and armour. I think that for the higher level of flying stuff you need a fleet beacon, which isn't actually available in this mission. You can see how sort of slow this shuttle is without its gravimetric drive. And we found land. Land's a thing. Well, sort of thing, isn't it? And let's produce a couple more units while there's a gap, I think. Or am I going to... No, I'm going for a Templar Archives because I go sort of... In this mission, because I'm not under any real duress, I tend to go sort of upgrade mad early and then produce units rather than doing the more traditional thing, which is to build a ton of units early and then go upgrade mad. But really I'm more about putting my infrastructure down at the moment more than building up a huge army, because the army that I'm going to end up going for is more than likely going to be air units, so therefore I want my air units as strong as possible. That's armour being researched, and Templar Archives and Pylon. Okay, so I think that this is overall not going so badly. And you can see we're 15 minutes into the mission now, and the Zerg have only come at us with really quite pathetic forces. This was one map that I wasn't actually that familiar with when I first started playing it, so therefore I'm not familiar with where the expansion points are at the moment, and really if I were to play this mission again I would already have expanded quite a long way. So there we go, shuttle now has the gravitic drive, and I'm tempted to research some high Templar abilities, but I don't really see the need. And you can see the shuttle has definitely speeded up at this point, and that's kind of going to be necessary. Should really be researching air weapons as well at this point. But I've got to be careful with this shuttle, because obviously it's my only one at the moment, and they are two. Ooh, Hydras. Okay, so there's burrowed Hydras on this island. Definitely burrowed Hydras on this island. Scourges, get the hell away. Run away. Run. Oh god, more Scourges. More Scourges. Run. Thank god Scourges lose interest after you get to a certain point. Look how many Scourges there are. Amutulisks and more Scourges. Oh, this is bad. I'm not going to... Oh, God, Spore Colony. I can't take too many hits. I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh, look. A place where we can expand to. And what's the most important thing for at least me in this game? Expansion. And that's even on the same island. So, oh, God, a Mutalisk. Yeah, you just sit there, Dragoons. You do that. Oh god, my supply line's getting devastated, but overall I think I'm going to be okay here, because I do have the... I've now got a little bit more vision of the map. I know where I want to be going, and I also know that I can expand, and expanding is a good thing. See, I haven't done too much cutting in the early part here. That's because I kind of wanted to give you a sensation of how sort of, you know, this mission, if you don't know about, because I didn't know about that expansion area. If you don't know about that expansion area, this mission can be really plodding. If I were to play this mission again, I think I would just fast expand to that area, and then I'd be able to do what I've done here, which is go to Stargate really quickly. And I would just slaughter everything pretty much. But yeah, Mutalisk isn't really much of a threat to a photon cannon. You can see the photon cannon was doing near full damage to it. Yeah, that Hydralisk is in between a rock and a hard place. We're pretty much fortified at this point. You can see I've gone double Stargate here. I'm not sure whether I do have the economy to support that. I think I should do. 2 bases should be enough to support that. But scouts are not a very attack-orientated unit, but I'm going to need them because there's so many Scourges around those Zerg bases. I simply just cannot drop in those bases. There's no way I can do it, and it looks like I can just about support production out of 2 Stargates, so that's what we're going to be doing. And here's cool ability of the Templar number 1, Hallucination. Well, this is number 2. Number 1 was obviously Psystorm. This is Hallucination. You get to produce a copy of whatever you target with Hallucination for a certain period of time. Scourges will bomb themselves on it, which is hilarious. Bang! There you go. Killed the Scourge just using Hallucination. No, that's the actual shuttle. I want the Hallucination. And this just gives you... how can I describe it? It just gives you basically a suicide scout that lets you get a good look at where you're going. You can see here, this is actually a really nice drop area. There's a Guardian guarding it, but aside from that, and I get a look really close into the Zerg base here, and I get another Zerg. So, yeah, actually, I think the best thing might be to attempt to drop there, but the first thing I've got to do is clear everything out. So, I've got 12 scouts here, but don't think that this is going to be enough to break down what we're facing over there. I'm moving in very gingerly because I realise there are Scourges around, and even though a scout can tank 1 Scourge, and to be honest, when they're upgraded as they are, I think that a scout can actually tank 2 Scourge hits. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to try and keep them out of trouble if I can. I'm just clearing up this central island because I want a retreat path where I don't have to fight my way through half a dozen Hydralisks to retreat. Pull that scout away just so he doesn't get hurt. And the other thing I'm going to do at some point very shortly is I'm going to build a shield. I'm going to build a couple of shield batteries up here because this mission, a lot of it, because of the fact we are on fairly limited resources, and also I'm trying to build expensive units, I am actually going to try and keep my scouts alive as much as possible. Take the free Guardian there, and this is where I should really be dropping. It's like I should be looking to drop at this point. There is a clear area, there's a clear path for me to drop. 12 Dragoons, 12 Zealots would take that base out easily. Oh, annoying. You can see the Guardians staying clear here, and I'm sending my scouts back to help because my ground forces can't get anywhere near that Guardian, which is annoying. And oh god, Scourges have got to me. Oh no. Yes, got that one. My clicking accuracy just is not very good, unfortunately, and it can be very hard to work against Scourges here. Tassadar, just weaken that Guardian, would you? And there it goes. I'll rebuild that. I might actually build another shield battery there. There we go, just help that scout recover. I'm just going to take out these spore colonies at the back. But yeah, I think that I'm sort of... Whoa, Scourges, Scourges. That scout's had it. I'm not going to be able to keep that one alive. Yeah, you see how I missed with the... with clicking on that Scourge there? Doing that's really costly if you do that. But fortunately, scouts absolutely destroy mutalisks, so I'm okay with that. I'm just going to... You can see me just keeping rebuilding, and this is mainly what the idea behind this is. I'm just poking constantly with these scouts. trying to keep them as alive as possible, you know, not letting them... not letting Scourges crash into them as much as I can, just killing Hydralisks, backing off when obviously that Spore Colony is hitting the one which doesn't have any shields at the moment. Take 3 Overlords and 3 Hydralisks when I can get them. I might be able to screw over the mineral line a bit there as well. But I can always swarm out, swarm back in. Just kind of keep mobile. I think I did this just because I really wanted to Scourge. Looks like that one got a hit him, but it didn't do any damage to the... it only took the shield down. Oh, Mutalisk. Oh, they're coming again. Oh, I don't know why that Scourge suddenly abandoned its plan. That looked like a fairly good sneak attack to me. But getting 3 Overlords there, that's cool. And back in again. I am just retreating and healing up a lot of the time here as well. One of those you can't be too careful kind of things. Scouts are also, funnily enough, scouts are really slow to react sometimes. And yeah, I clicked on that Scourge, but it still took them like forever to think about it. Yep. Just you see the Zerg only have like 2 drones mining. Got that Scourge. Yeah, the Zerg really are Scourge happy in this mission. Oh, lost a scout there, not paying attention. Gonna lose another one here unless I'm careful. Oh, I missed the Scourge. I missed clicking on the Scourge again. I think the problem I have is that if I hit A there, if I just hit A and attack, they're going to hit me. That one stopped. If I just use A to attack, the scouts won't always attack the Scourge because it's not something that they, you know, they might go after the drone or something else. So you generally have to try and be accurate with your clicking, which is something that I definitely am not. God, how many Scourges did they build on this map? It might not have been a good idea to drop at this point. Yeah. You can see that scouts can really take a beating, but I've got to retreat at this point. I mean, oh God, look what... Well, having said that, though, it looks like the purple Zergs decided to give me... Oh, free stuff. Free stuff. All this free stuff. Oh, Queen, so I can't close it down because of the ensnare, but I'll take the more free stuff with the Overlords, and I can probably retreat and charge back the shield batteries at this point. Yep, here we go. I'm kind of taking down all the spore colonies one bit at a time here, just to make any landing that I do easier, but I think that to be honest, I'm probably just going to go straight up scout. I do actually, oh, this is not good. I think that I've overcommitted here. Yeah. Let's take out the Hydras because when they're in high numbers, their DPS is just way too high. I'm going to focus fire down this spore colony and then get out of here. I did lose some scouts there, but I think I'm okay. I'm also going to take this free Guardian. I might as well take the Greater Spire while I'm here, just so... Hydra. Oh, it managed to snipe one of my scouts. That was annoying. Okay, let's take the Overlords. it knackers Zerg's supply as well by doing this, so it's definitely worth it to pick off some overlords while you can. I just want this spire so that the CPU can't always produce muters, and at this point I think I can just drop in this area. You know, I've been waiting a long time for a drop here, and I really should be making it. While the scouts can probably clean up what's left here. You'll see I'm actually mined out at this point, so I have to take this expansion with the units that I have, otherwise I'm just dead in the water. So, because I've waited for so long, because I've done nothing but build. Yeah, I've done nothing but build scouts pretty much here. So anyway, I finally do get it into my head, so here you go. And you'll notice there are a lot of burrowed Zerglings here, but nothing that's going to really make things difficult for me. I think I might lose one Dragoon here. Doesn't look like I do. So that's the end of this base. And I'll finally be able to expand here properly, and that means I can get this up. But I think I made that an awful lot more difficult than it had to be. I could very easily have just dropped really early. I can certainly see why I decided to... just be careful with my scouts, get all the scourges out of the way as much as I possibly could, get all the flying defences out of the way, and then drop. But I think that I would have had a lot easier time if I'd have just straight up dropped from the beginning. You can see lots of Vespene available and a really big mineral patch. So I've expanded down there, as you can see. And this allows me to build up my economy again. Oh, free stuff. Free stuff. Free expensive stuff as well for, you know, for Guardians. Now we've got a lot of spore colonies down here, and unfortunately that ensnare is going to make things very awkward for me, because it means I can't pull my scouts back as quickly as I would want. But again, what I'm trying to do here, again, in my mind, I'm thinking I want somewhere to be able to safely drop. In reality, I'm trying to finish this mission with seriously low DPS units, which I think is a mistake. You know, scouts just have terrible DPS against ground units. And you saw in the Terran campaign that, you know, 12 wraiths or even 24 wraiths just does not get the job done against a heavily fortified ground installation, because ground just is so... because they're just so terrible against ground. Oh god, millions of scourges, millions of scourges. Yep, the purple Zerg uses them as well. I'm not too sure what the command is for hold still and fire, but the scouts tend to, you know, they tend to move towards whatever they're going to fire at before firing, and that can be very bad, because especially when dealing with scourges, you end up in a bit of a pickle. Right, I'm going to have to retreat here. My scouts are getting decimated, but managed to get rid of a few of the spore colonies there, so that shouldn't be too bad to try and break through at this point. Ah, the first appearance of the infested Terran. Watch what it does. Bang! Yep, the infested Terran is a ground suicide troop that does an awful lot of damage when it runs into something. So don't let it run into things if you can possibly avoid it. But that also means that there is a infested Terran command center somewhere on this map. So I'm going to have to look out for that, I suppose. Anyway, continuing with my rather futile attack here. I should just drop 24 Dragoons in here and just be done with it. I actually think that I could go up. You can see the amount of Vespene gas I've got here. I can just straight up go Archon here. But having said that though, you can only get 2 Archons in a shuttle, so you will be using, you know, you'll be using more shuttles than you could ever think about, really. And I've got my scouts in a mess here. I've managed to take out one spore colonies, but I'm beginning to lose stuff. Scourges. Lots of Scourges. That hurt a lot. Yeah, I'm losing so many scouts here. This is not good. That Scourge swarm was really bad. Still, let it never be said that I don't continue with terrible plans when a completely and utterly better plan is available. Good job that I expanded, that's all I can say, because this has been a bit of a mess overall. As I said, going 12 scouts is probably fine, but after that I should just be dropping. You'll notice I have 24 scouts in this attack, so the job will get done even if I have to just produce ridiculous numbers of units. And the Zerg use a lot of Hydralisks in this mission as well, so it's it's an absolute double whammy just due to the fact that I'm against a pretty much perfect counter unit to the scout on a couple of realms here, because I have I'm up against Scourges and against like a shed load of spore colonies. But you do need them somewhat just because of you have to clear out your opponent's air defences. So I think I just went, in this mission, if I'm going to be critical of myself, which I obviously am going to be, I think in this mission I just ended up going with too much of a, I just didn't know when to stop on one strategy, whereas if I'd have stopped on one strategy I would have been fine. Whereas I kind of made this mission into a bit of a ridiculous grind. And this is just a complete catastrophe as far as what's happening to my scouts, but at this point I don't care. I'm just going in for... I'm sticking to this terrible idea, and that's just the way things are going to be. God, look, Hydras, millions of them. So, you can beat the counters to scouts with scouts, but you need way too many scouts in order to do it. So, obviously in its death throes it gets that shot off, but never mind. Going to take out the hatchery here, and that will be more than enough to be able to drop in this area. Oh, but look, we have the infested Terran Command Center I mentioned earlier. I don't think that that's going to be a big deal anyway, is it? There's not going to be anything that happens because of it. At least there shouldn't be.
Warriors have engaged the enemy.
This is General Edmund Duke of the Terran Dominion Armada. You are in violation of our airspace and have endangered human lives in your reckless attack against the Zerg. I order you to withdraw your ships immediately. If you fail to comply, I will not hesitate to open fire upon your vessels.
General Duke, I am Tassadar, and you are well known to me. Whatever leniency I extended to you and your comrades before may have been in error. If you persist in halting our course, we will burn your pathetic fleet down to the last man.
I'm gonna have to assume that was a hostile response.
I always thought that Duke was a dick, but that was an awesome response from Tassadar. It's like, you have a completely pathetic fleet, do not make me slap you. So I guess let's go and slap Duke. Now this is a bit annoying because I've got to try and avoid the Zerg defenses here as they are, and I've still got Guardians being annoying in my base. But as you can see, the way to the beacon is completely clear now, so that's going to be easy. And here comes the Terran fleet, walking straight into one of my photon cannons, which is nice of them. And now my scouts are just going to obliterate this force. Funnily enough, the Wraiths, for whatever reason, don't decide to fight back. They just decide to try and go after ground targets, which I don't know why. This is just a token effort completely. And where's that battle cruiser? Now observe what scouts do to battle cruisers. Yeah. Scouts are pretty awesome in air-to-air, but they're not that great otherwise. Still, time has come, and now we can drop Tassadar and 2 Zealots by the beacon, and that will be it for this mission. So I've made a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill in this mission, but fortunately scouts are very, very strong, and despite my complete and utter lack of dropping despite preparing for it, it looks like I've got away with it, so that should do it. Yep, there we go. So I imagine these figures won't be very flattering, because I lost way more units than I should have done, like 37. But never mind, things will get better next time, guys. Thanks for watching. See you then.